welcome back, everybody, to this week's live episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel and our friends over at WDW Magazine and DCL Magazine, launching soon. So if you have not signed up, please head over to dcl-magazine.com to sign up for their fabulous new print publication coming soon with an article, hopefully, the DCL Duo in there that we're pretty proud of, so we can't wait to share that with you.
Written by Brian Flock of the DCL Duo.
You keep saying that, but it's a collective. It's the DCL Duo.
Edited by Sam, written by
music
Brian.
And lyrics by. All right, so there we go. So that should be coming soon. Head over to dcl-magazine.com. While you're over there, check out the WDW store. Use code DCL Duo, all caps, for 10% off everything in the store, including subscriptions to the magazine, digital subscriptions to the magazine. You don't have to get a print publication sent to you if you don't want to. They've got digital versions of these magazines that you can look at on your iPad and your phone, wherever you like to look at magazine-like content. You can have it. And actually, they just launched a new rope drop app for WDW Magazine. So head over there and check that out as well. If you're looking for a park planning app, they just launched one. So pretty great stuff coming out over there. So, Sam, with that, we got friends. We got friends back. Let's introduce our friends. Yeah.
Yes, we've got Drew and Hayley. It's funny because it says Hayley and Drew, but we have Drew on, and it's like your names are like reversed. But
it's like the Brady Bunch.
It is. For those who don't know Hayley and Drew, we've had them on the show a whole bunch of times. We've talked about their year of Disney. We've talked about them sailing to Alaska on another cruise line, not Disney. Oh my goodness. We've had them on for plenty of shows. You can look back in our catalog to listen to them all. And of course, we got to meet them in person on our Norway sailing out of Dover back in 2022. And of course, got to meet Hayley's parents as well on the cruise, which was a lot of fun. Scott is the human Shazam, so he was great for all things music trivia. But we, great friends of ours, Hayley and Drew, have even come to Seattle, and we've gotten to hang out with them in Seattle as well. So welcome back to the show, you guys.
Thanks. We're glad to be here, and glad we could finally cruise again. It's been a while for us.
Okay, yes. We cruised last on Disney in May of 2023. So Drew was like, "It's been an eternity."
Yeah, it's been an eternity. I agree with you, Drew. It's like a year and a half. What's going on? That's too long.
We went to Switzerland for 2 weeks. That's what happened.
Yeah, that is.
We were not suffering.
No,
to be clear.
I planned the whole thing. It was my dream trip, so I was very happy.
You were fine.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
Well, before we dive into talking about your recent cruise, I mean, super recent, like you got off yesterday kind of cruise on the Disney Treasure, we have some DCL news to share with everyone out there. I'm going to start with a couple of news items. Sam's got a couple of news items. So kicking things off, big shakeup in the Disney management for interest to us as DCL aficionados. Thomas Maslam has been promoted to a new post. He is going to be I'm trying to remember
he's going to be the head of Disneyland.
Head of Disneyland, yeah, current president. So he's going to be the president of the Disneyland Resort. So Sam, we may still be able to see him around. You can get.
I know. I might have to say hi and get another picture with him at Disneyland instead of getting my picture with him on the Disney Treasure.
Yes. So the new head of Disney Signature Experiences, which for those of you out there, Disney Signature Experiences is the umbrella that Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, Disney Vacation Club, and I think something else falls under. But the new head of that will be Joe Schott, who is
he was the head of Shanghai Disneyland.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
I was getting to this.
Sorry.
Is joining from Shanghai Disney, where he was the president and general manager. And so there you go. I don't know what that forebodes. I kind of want to reach out to Benji to see what he might know over at Laughing Place about Joe, and any tips we should know about, or their suspicions he might have about what it means for the future of Signature Experiences. But there you go. New head of Signature Experiences, Joe Schott, joining from Shanghai Disney.
Well, and then of course we don't know why the head of Disneyland is no longer the head of Disneyland, and I don't know if he's. I mean, they didn't announce.
It was a reshuffle. No, it was a reshuffle. There was reshuffling.
Okay, is he going someplace else?
It was a big reshuffle. I suspect this is all sort of leading up to whoever they plan to announce as the new head of the Disney company, as they sort of start to wind down their search, hopefully.
Right, when when Bob's finally going to retire again. Yeah,
well, and there was some speculation that tomorrow Josh was kind of on the short list, so maybe this forebodes that's what's going on. So anyway, other news on my side of things before I kick it over to Sam, Disney Cruise Line did
Oh,
announce.
Brian, your microphone is all fuzzy. I don't know what happened there.
Am I okay now?
Now you're okay.
Okay, I don't know if that was from me. I don't think it was from me. Anyway, Disney Cruise Line announced that they have increased their recommended per night per guest gratuities. So for all of you out there, I don't remember if these were like $14-ish before, but now they're going up to $16 per night per stateroom guest. So per stateroom per guest at $16 a night. That is shared among your dining room server, assistant server, head server, and stateroom host. So split among 4 people. The recommended gratuity for concierge has also gone up. I think it was around $25. Now it's $27.25. That is split between everyone I just mentioned and all of the concierge lounge staff, including the concierge hosts and lounge team, in addition to the crew members mentioned above. So I had someone reach out to me and say that $27.25, that seems like a lot. I mean, it is not when you divide
Not a lot when you divide it by all those people.
So we always tip well in excess of that in concierge. Someone has said, well, you're paying so much for the rooms already. Like none of that is going into the pockets of the crew. That is all going back to Disney corporate as additional profit. So the crew rely on these tips. So I would say these recommended minimums are really the recommended bare minimum. I did see some comments come in too about I wish Disney would just build the tips into the price and pay people a better wage. Amen. It's just not how the world's working right now. So if it happens, I would fully support it. I'm happy to pay a few bucks more on a cruise to make sure that these folks who bring the magic to us every day get paid well. So please, please, please remember to tip your servers. All right. So Sam, what have you got news-wise over there?
Yeah. So the first piece of news is about luggage tag designs. This might not be super exciting for a lot of people, but we like to see new designs of things, right? This is sort of I remember Ducky Williams says that he likes to draw things that are like throwaway stuff like, maps and, park leaflets. Well, this is probably, something that is considered sort of throwaway art. But anyway, the new DCL luggage tag designs have a particular one for concierge, a particular one for regular, and then a particular one for GTY or guaranteed category staterooms. And each ship is getting its own color. So this is a new thing. It hasn't rolled out yet on the Treasure, as Hayley and Drew confirmed to us today. But on the Magic, you will, if you're sailing on the Magic going forward, so which means probably a few weeks from now, you should be getting green luggage tags. If you're going on the Wonder, you should be getting orange luggage tags. If you're going on the Dream, you will get blue. If you're going on the Fantasy, purple. On the Wish, maroon. And on the Disney Treasure, you will get yellow luggage tags. And if you don't get your luggage tags in advance of your cruise,
fear not.
They will have luggage tags at the port, and you can just write your room number on those luggage tags that you receive at the port. So don't worry about it. It's pretty routine. A lot of international folks often don't get luggage tags ahead of time. And those of us on the West Coast sometimes don't get them in time as well. So fear not.
In fact, one of the designs they released was the at-port luggage tag. So,
exactly.
It happens enough that they have its own design. Yeah.
Now,
ours were yellow, but not the new design.
Not the new design yellow. Yeah. Okay. So it might be that the color is fairly, new or has been implemented previously, but the new design just got implemented. Okay, this other piece of news, I'm going to share my screen because I got a picture.
Breaking
news just from today on the interwebs. This was shared by our friend of the show, Ashley, and it was actually from a cast member, Steffi at Sea. And it is basically announcing the Adventure Tea with Royalty. This is on the Disney Treasure, and Hayley and Drew confirmed it was actually on their sailing. It was not pre-reserved, meaning you couldn't reserve it in the app ahead of time before the cruise, but they announced it on board. It is an extra charge, and it is the replacement for the Olaf's tea on the Wish or the Royal tea that's on the other 4 ships. And so what this picture shows is Tiana wearing pants, mind you, Jasmine also wearing pants, Rapunzel wearing pants, and of course, my favorite, Eugene or Flynn Rider. Of course, he's wearing pants as well. But it is
Why are we indexing on the pants?
because they
each
always
character
wear,
you named.
because I have never seen Tiana face character wearing anything other than a dress. She's always wearing either her like ball gown dress or her like dress from when she's working in her restaurant, right? So she's never wearing pants. This is an adventure themed essentially princess tea, and so this is an extra charge. The teas that they've had on the other ships often come, yes, it does look like it's the outfit from Bayou Adventure.
She wears it in 1900 Park Fair as well.
There you go. Okay, so it is an adventure themed tea. We don't have details on what it entails, but I will tell you from our knowledge of like the Olaf's tea and the royal tea, it is basically, you can book it typically if you've got a little one with you, meaning someone who is between the ages of 3 and 12. And the child's cost is much more expensive than the adult cost. We're talking like over $200 for the child's cost and about, I'm going to say like $70 per adult. And why that is because you get served food and drink, and there's a show and princess meet and greets and pictures. And then also the kid goes home with a bunch of goodies, a bunch of souvenirs. I don't know what the souvenirs are. From what we heard, this was a trial showing of the Royal Adventure Tea with royalty on the Disney Treasure this past week, but she officially launches next month in February. I don't know exactly what date. And I can tell you at this point, I don't know exactly when it's going to be bookable, but it should be something you'll be able to pre-reserve in the app, either ahead of the cruise or once you log in to the ship's Wi-Fi at the port. My guess is for when it initially launches, it might be the 30-day booking window like a royal gathering. And when it fully launches a couple months out, it'll probably be when your onboard booking window opens.
One last piece of news that I thought you were headed here, but you went to the tea. The adventure. So we had
forgot about that.
We had some sleuthing on the internet this week that discovered port arrivals or port days booked for the Disney Adventure in Long Beach. So she's going to be stopping in Los Angeles before she heads over to Singapore. And guess what that means? She's got to be going through the Panama Canal. So got quite a bit of feedback on, well, she's too big. Apparently not, because she looks like she's going to come from Germany through the canal. Would guess she'll make some sort of stop at Port Canaveral. I don't know if they'll make her stop in New York again for Good Morning America, but we'll be stopping at Long Beach before heading over to
Not
Singapore.
Long Beach, LA.
I thought LA was Long Beach. I thought
No.
Long Beach was the Port of LA. All right.
Port of LA. Yeah.
Okay, great. Port of LA in the Los Angeles area. That's where she's stopping. And so it does. We also learned from a friend of ours that it does look like it coincides with the travel agent conference that's heading down to Disneyland.
The earmarked owners conference is right before that. It's for like 3 days right before that. That's what Karen Shelton from My Path Unwinding told us. And so it looks like she's docked for 2 days. It looks like November 6th and 7th.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for that.
Anyway,
Port of LA is pretty much Long Beach. Thank you, Ed.
But anyway, November 6th and 7th, and then she leaves and returns November 11th. So it looks like that could mean a preview sailing, meaning non-revenue invited guests only sailing out of LA for the American market. That would be super interesting. This is, of course, based on port information that folks sleuthed out. This was we got this from DCL Cruising Dad, so shout out to him, Chris Kokanee, for sleuthing that out. But yeah, super interesting.
Well, he got it from somebody else, just to be fair. But thank you for Chris for highlighting it to us. Yes,
he got the information, but then he verified it by looking at the port. What the ships were going to be at port in that time period. So he sort of confirmed it with his sleuthing. So
CT, I'm expecting an article next week on what it means that it's stopping in LA before it goes over. All right. So there you go.
I also love, by the way, that CT wrote in comment to the T, a treasure going on the adventure. That's exactly right, CT. We keep mishmashing the treasure and the adventure with the theming. Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Sam, we got to get into talking about Hayley and Drew's experience with the treasure, because everyone's heard ours. So, Hayley, Drew just got back. 7 nights on the treasure. Was it an Eastern or a Western? I can't remember.
An Eastern.
Eastern. All right. So
Yep.
so St. Thomas, Tortola, Castaway. All
Yep.
right. Great.
That's it.
We
So-
don't need to talk about the ports though.
No, we're not going to
about
talk.
the
I just want to
ports
make
today.
sure we know where,
Yeah.
where they went. So talk to us about what kind of stateroom did you book on board, and what was it like kind of leading up to the treasure? Because, there's a lot of lead up to this ship, a lot of build up. So how are
And
you feeling heading
spoilers
into the
from
cruise?
us, of course.
Well,
Yes.
maybe they
Right.
didn't listen. Maybe they didn't listen to it. Who knows? Yeah.
We did. I can't speak for her.
I listened to them before you did.
No.
Thank you very much.
But, well, to answer what kind of stateroom we had, I have given us the moniker the DCL Insiders because we like to sell inside staterooms. And that's what we were on here on the Treasure. We specifically had an up room, which I really enjoyed. But we had the inside stateroom, the one with a single bathroom. I don't know what category that is.
The cheapest room on the ship.
Yes.
I'm what I like to call selectively bougie. The less money I spend on the room, the more money I have to spend on the other things.
Yes,
Nice.
on like the merch and the
Merch,
drinks.
the
and-
spa, the excursions, the Apollo. Yeah.
Exactly.
All the
I'm
things.
with you. I'm with you. I love it. And Taryn saying shout out to fellow inside stateroom
Yeah.
peeps. by the
Yeah.
way.
It's like, you have a spectrum, and over here is concierge, and then over here is us.
Yeah.
We're out of frame.
Well, and Taryn was on, I think, literally the cruise right before you. She was on.
Nice.
Yeah, I think she was on.
Aaron,
The
if you were in room 9059, thanks for leaving it in good shape for us.
I love it. I
So
love
what? So talk about the lead up to it. I mean, I assume you two were excited. I mean, most of the stuff out there has been excitement around the treasure. Not a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of downside to it.
it. And as
what-
Perks fans.
Yeah. What were you sort of most, assuming you were looking forward to it? What were you most looking forward to on board?
Well, we were definitely looking forward to it. We had been on the Wish not long after it came out, and we enjoyed it. It wasn't our favorite ship, but the theming of this ship really, it was the things we liked about the Wish, but with the theming that we love from the parks, the Skipper Society, the Haunted Mansion Bar, and so many others. And go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm a huge Princess Jasmine fan. I purchased this lovely t-shirt. This is a children's shirt, so don't get too attached unless you wear children's sizes, but you can get it for your kids or for your fun-sized adults out there. But anyway, I'm a huge Princess Jasmine fan. Aladdin is up there in my Mount Rushmore of Disney movies, probably. So the Agrabah theme, that, and I studied abroad in Spain in college, and southern Spain has a lot of similar architecture because of the Muslims who conquered southern Spain. There's a lot of Islamic-inspired architecture there. So the whole time I was just like, I love this mosaic. I love these geometric shapes. This is all my favorite architecture on a ship. It's so great.
Oh, I
I was
love
taking
that.
way too many photos of just like random architectural details.
Well, and there's a lot to take pictures of on
Yes.
the Disney Treasure. What were your first thoughts when you walked into the beautiful grand hall? Because that's obviously like, I mean, she's just like an iconic shot. I don't know what you thought about it.
Up until now, the Fantasy was probably our favorite grand hall. Atrium.
Yeah.
Yes, atrium. But now for me, it's the Treasure. Like, just the chandelier is like
I'm
the most
obsessed.
beautiful thing I've
It's
ever
so
seen.
good.
We got one of the
They have like a lantern that looks like
the lanterns. These are
it's
the
a Christmas
lanterns that
ornament, and
hang
it looks like the
down.
lanterns on board. It does light up.
Yeah.
And so that's super
Ooh, I like the light up feature. I didn't know it lit up. Yeah.
So that's fun. So I mean, just it's so gorgeous. I didn't have the same concerns that maybe some other people had about it being too masculine, because I'm not that into the Wish really. And actually, I think maybe on like day 1 or 2 of this sailing, I was like, okay, so I never need to sail on the Wish again. Because like literally anything that I would have wanted to do on the Wish, I can do here, but on a longer sailing and on a much prettier and ship with a theme that makes me much happier. So for me, it was like, okay, great. Never need to do the Wish again.
I'll be honest. I fall into the same category as you there, Hayley. Like if somebody wants to juice up their castaway status, that's like a good reason to go on the Wish, right? You want to reach a higher castaway status quickly so you can do like those weekend 3-night cruises if you live in Florida, really. That's kind of the only way to do it. But for me, I could just not ever sail on the Wish again and be perfectly happy because everything I love that the Wish has, the Treasure has, but better.
Better. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the difference between, like, I can't remember a single coffee venue on the Wish, but the Hey
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 Hey.
Cafe and I
Right?
think
Jade
the Jade
Cricket.
Cricket is beautiful. I'm like,
Yeah.
Was the cast member at Hey Hey still? Like, he had this thing on the Maiden where when you walked up, he'd be like, "Hey Hey,"
Yeah.
like
No.
everybody.
I don't think he was doing that.
no, I think maybe he
That's
ran
too
out of
bad.
juice on that joke before we got there.
5
but-
weeks in, it's over.
Um,
already.
I did want to also say, of course, we were really excited about the Tale of Moana stage show and
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast we've seen on the Dream, but we love it, so we were happy to see that again. But definitely, we're very excited about the Moana show.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think. It's easier to say what we weren't excited about,
Yeah,
which
which
is
I
like
don't-
the layout.
Yeah,
Still don't love the
or-
layout, but
yeah.
it's fine.
The adult area layout specifically is like my one hang up point.
How was it? Because so on the Maiden, I actually found it to be pretty manageable in terms of like people back there most days. Like I was able to get a seat, near the bar, and like it wasn't very crowded back there.
Or-
And I don't know if that
Ours was.
yours
We
was
were-
okay.
We were keeping in mind we sailed during a time that kids are in school.
Typically.
So
Most
there
start
were
back
a
in.
lot, maybe more adults on our sailing than there were children.
Mhm.
I mean, there definitely were still children there, but the adult space is, to use a Brian term,
Oversubscribed.
oversubscribed.
I'm sorry, I just hit my microphone, but I knew you were going to say that. This is
Of
not
course.
the Brian term. It's so funny. There are
100%.
people. Somebody actually, we got a new review on Apple Podcasts like a week ago or something, and they
So they
commented.
learned prognosticate. from me.
Prognosticate
Yeah.
is now in their vocabulary because of
Oh,
us, and so it was
Just wait until I bust out
hilarious.
prestidigitation. All right.
All the SAT words.
And so it's just funny that you use oversubscribe. I do love that. But that I
For
think
the
you're
record,
right.
I don't use that word, but I know Brian does, so it's just purely for Brian's.
Yeah, but it was like on the sea days, on the 3 sea days, all of them, all the chairs along the one side,
Mhm.
the one hot tub that the thing has always had 10 people in it.
I will say though that
The
like
pool was full, the seats were full.
I didn't have trouble getting into the hot tub when I wanted it.
Yeah,
So that I wasn't like I was like, oh, I have to queue for the hot tub.
right.
It wasn't as like the worst, and I was able to hang out in the pool some and not be feeling
Yeah.
like I was in person soup.
And did you go even to Cove Cafe? This is the one thing about the Wish and the Treasure that I feel like, I mean, we did go to the Cove Cafe when we were on, but I don't feel like you have to go to Cove Cafe because there's so many other coffee options on board. So I'm curious what you guys did for like your coffee or your drinks.
Yeah. Now that you have Hey Hey and Jade Cricket and even a few other places,
Skipper will make you coffee.
and things like that, it's like the one time we went up there, it was empty, and it just seems crazy to go that far out of the way. Like there's nothing that draws you
Like if
all the way around there to the
Mhm.
back.
if you're already over there and you're at the pool and you want a coffee, then sure. But like otherwise, it's like all the way over there.
Yeah.
And
Now, how did you find the family pool deck then? Since it was heavily adult cruise. Now you did have MLK Day falling on your cruise, so there would have been some families, some people who will pull their kids out of school for the 4 days, or maybe they have a couple days off if they have sort of a weird schedule. But how was the family pool deck?
I would say we had more younger kids than
Yeah.
maybe a normal sailing. So like
Kids that weren't in school yet.
yeah.
Right.
But in the pools, the family pools still seemed like kid soup some of the time. Our main seeing it is walking through it because we don't have kids, so we basically beeline for the adult areas and make that our happy place.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the pool deck, the family pool deck, was still pretty full. People watching Funnel Vision. There was one lady who was like out there with her foot propped up on her walker, like knitting every morning.
Oh, nice.
And watching Funnel Vision, and
She was there
living
like
her
all
best
day,
life.
every day, just
that was
enjoying her.
it was her happy
cruise.
place. So
I love that for her. Yeah.
So-
Well, let's talk about some of the onboard activities, because obviously we know this.
No, can we go to bars first?
Sure,
please?
bars first.
I want to
then
do bars
onboard.
first because
Yeah.
like
I'm saving shows and restaurants.
yeah.
Right.
Oh yes. For those of you at home, I'm gonna put a plug in again. Please head over to YouTube and watch. And thank you to Mr. Chad Pennycuff too, who is reminding folks to smash that like button. So yes, please do that.
And don't forget to subscribe. Yeah.
Yes. And so let's
Wait, show those glasses again.
Yeah.
The one
So
that
folks at
Drew
home,
is
yep.
holding up is the Mariner cup from the Haunted Mansion Parlor,
Yep.
and the one that Hayley is holding up is the Jungle Cruise boat. Essentially, I forget what it's called. The Empress.
It's the M's Empress.
M's
And
Empress.
pro tip: it makes an excellent receptacle for your pillow chocolates.
There you go.
I love it.
It's
Yeah.
like-
I love the nod there too. The Ems Empress is for the Ems River in Germany that the ship has to sail up to get at.
Right.
So, yeah.
And the
I remember-
Empress you can get in Skipper Society. It comes with a drink, and of course, obviously, the Mariner comes with a drink as well. They do run out of these cups, so warning to those sailing on the Treasure: if you really want either of these cups or one of the mermaid siren character in the Haunted Mansion pub, Parlor, I would recommend purchasing it on like day 1 or 2 because they do seem to sell out. But they are restocking, but they're not necessarily restocking during the cruise. They seem to be restocking in between sailings.
Okay, but let's talk about the actual bars.
Sorry, I know. I just needed to tell people. Yeah.
Well, no. Well, so can we start with
Can
Skipper? Can we start with Skipper? Can we start with Skipper
Yes.
Society?
Question for when we get to Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, when we get to Haunted
Okay.
Mansion.
All right. Yeah. So what did you think of Skipper Society?
I loved it. It's way better than the French Quarter, I
It's the
think,
Bayou.
or the Bayou. Sorry, on the Wish, and we love Jungle Skipper navigation. We love the SEA theming and all of those sorts of things. So we love the Jungle Skipper. I loved one of the hidden details that I really liked was in the woodwork around the stage. It's all animals that you find on the Jungle Cruise ride, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun little artwork in there, in the 2 booths at the back, and also in some of the corners up in the front. So enjoyed spending time and just kind of peeping around in there during a time they were not hosting trivia. Looking at some of those details. So if you're like a person who loves Imagineering, this is like your ship.
Yeah. So if you want one of those small details, there's 2 paddles in one of the booths. And one has 55 and one has 71 on it for the 2 years that the Jungle Cruise opened in those parks. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because they're original rides in both
Yep.
parks. The Jungle Cruise are original rides. And so that's the opening year of Disneyland and the opening year of Disney World. What did you think about the drink offerings? I know, Hayley, you tried the salted caramel teeny. I'm curious as to how you liked it, if you liked your waffle garnish, and if there were other drinks in particular that you liked from the Skipper Society.
You and the waffle garnish, Sam. Oh
I
my
love
God.
the
It's
waffle.
great. Actually, we forgot to order the waffles separately.
Yeah, we
So
didn't.
next time.
So that was
The problem, okay, brief aside, the problem is that they host a lot of trivias in Skipper, and it's not enough space for the people who want to be there.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
true.
did multiple trivias writing on the railing on the outside.
Oh!
of the bar. So, yeah.
That
They'll
might
put-
be,
they'll
though.
put Disney Music Trivia Live with Matt Grinke and Skipper Society. People
What's
are
so
going to be sitting on the
what's-
floor.
What's
Yeah.
so funny about that is they have a tailor-made space for trivia, I feel like, in Sarabi, because they have the upstairs that has TVs and booths too. So you could easily do the trivia in there. Yeah. That's
I know.
And sometimes
They
they
really
made the
should.
questionable choice not to do that, but
Yeah.
maybe bingo. But in my world, trivia way outweighs bingo. So
Yeah.
if they were asking me, that's what I would do.
Agreed.
But salted caramel teeny was very good. I'm not an espresso martini person because I'm actually not a coffee drinker. So similar vibes. I enjoyed the waffle garnish. I dipped it into my martini for a couple of bites, which I guess is what you're supposed to do, or maybe I don't know. It was good. I'm not sure that I really repeated any of my drink orders because there's so many lovely spaces to have a drink over the course of the ship, over the week, that I don't know that I repeated any. I also got the drink that comes in the M's Empress, although you can get your drink served not in the boat so that you don't have a sticky boat.
Yes.
Take with you, which is what
Highly recommend.
Yes,
Yeah.
recommend that strategy. And so I'm a big tiki drink person, like rum-based drinks. So the Skipper Society was a lot of the sort of things that I liked. So I did like the drink that I got that comes in the mug. Is it the Skipper Sipper? I don't remember.
I don't remember the name, but there were a bunch of
Yeah,
there-
it's the Skipper
Sipper.
It's
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and Bridget is
rum,
jumping
bourbon,
in. Bridget, who you
Kahlua.
met on
Yeah.
board, also is jumping in the Skipper Sipper. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like the Safari So Good.
Oh, you
Was
had
my
a couple
favorite.
of those,
Yeah,
didn't you?
so I had a few of those. I didn't get the hippopotamus Mai Tai because I can get that anytime I want.
Right.
at,
You can get that at Trader
Our Trader
Sam's.
Sam's.
Trader
And
Sam's.
we are DVC
Which-
owners at the Poly.
We
So
we
we're
stayed at the
Poly
new Poly
regularly.
Tower before going on this cruise.
Yes,
so.
we did.
So
Yeah.
you had plenty of punny drinks and whatnot
Yes.
before.
Absolutely.
Let's jump over to the Periscope Pub. I'm curious what you all thought of that as compared to the Crown and what is it? Crown and Anchor? No, Crown.
No.
And,
Yeah,
what
the,
is it called?
the
my God, it's not
anchor
Crown.
and something.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Anyway,
not
Bills
Anchor.
and-
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! How am I blanking on the name of this place?
Yeah, I'm like Crown and Fin. No, that's the Royal
Not
Caribbean.
Crown and
loyalty
Fin.
thing.
No,
That's
Crown
right.
and Anchor is Royal Caribbean.
Talk about Periscope Pub.
Oh
Periscope.
my God! I am
So
drunk.
weirdly, we spent maybe 5 minutes total in Periscope.
Yeah, we went to our
Keg
Facebook
and
group
Compass.
meetup.
Thank you, Tracy. Keg and Compass.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you, friends.
We went to the Facebook meetup on the first day, and then we went in there as part of the tour, and that was like all the time we spent in there.
Because they weren't having any trivias in there.
They didn't. They
So,
weren't really
I don't
having
have a
anything
reason
in
to
there.
go.
It was actually like every time we walked by and the door was open, there was maybe 5 people in there. Like
Maybe they showed some of the playoff football games in there
Yeah.
or something. But they were also showing those in Hero Zone and,
And up
on
on the
Funnel
Funnel-
Vision. So
Funnel
there were
Vision.
plenty of places for people who wanted to watch the NFL playoffs and the college national football championship. There were places to watch those. But yeah, so we didn't spend a lot of time in Periscope. The details looked cool. I did take some pictures of them when we were in there, just kind of poking around briefly, but we didn't really like hang out there.
I want to
Yeah.
look through the Periscope. How can you have a venue called Periscope Pub and not look through the Periscope?
It will. So
Yeah.
they're working on it. So apparently it was not planned to be able to view through the Periscope. And people were saying to the Imagineers, like, wait, why does this
Why?
not work? Right. And so they are going to make it so that you'll see the bridge view, the same view that you can put up on your television in your stateroom, which
Yeah.
makes complete sense.
That's
And Nathan is asking about or saying that he's heard the food and he was saying Keg and Compass, but he knows it's Periscope. And corrected himself in a different post, and so he wants to try the burger. I can, Nathan, we can
absolutely
vouch and tell
validate.
you
Yeah.
that we did not have the burger, but we heard the burger was good. But we can validate that the wings, the pretzel, the tachos, like really good, all good, and drinks are good in there as well. But of course, you can have they have plenty of beer offerings since it is a pub. All right, well, we got to turn to.
I want to go across the hall to Scat Cat.
Yes,
Scat Cat
exactly.
Lounge.
I was like, we got to end at Haunted Mansion.
oh, yeah,
I had
Yeah.
the peanut butter and jelly, the grape jam
Yeah.
with the Uncrustable. It was great. It was good. It was good. It's hard because I like it, but it doesn't beat the smoked old fashions that I get in Hook's Barbary.
So it's
The
a
old-
good drink, but nothing tops the
But
old
they
fashioned.
don't come with a snack.
They don't
That's
come with
true.
an Uncrustable.
You
That's
do
true.
love an Uncrustable.
That's true. I
It's-
do
Yeah.
love it.
They do come with a little cherry, right? Like an Amaruna
Yes.
cherry, but they don't come with like a sandwich, right?
Amarina.
So-
Amarina.
Amarina, whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what did you like? What did you think about the atmosphere of Scat Cat? It's obviously the piano bar replacement for Nightingales, but also kind of replaces like Ooh La La and Pink on the, Dream class ships and kind of the Cadillac and Keys on the Magic class, although obviously still quite different. But yeah, curious what you guys thought of the atmosphere and decor.
We are cat people and we like the Aristocats. So I really like it. It's my favorite. And I thought having the bar out into the not atrium,
The
Nat
Grand Hall.
I keep saying the wrong one, was a great idea. And I think that
It feels totally different.
Yeah.
Like the space it doesn't feel like we didn't really spend a lot of time in Nightingales when we were on the Wish. We only did a 3-night sailing on the Wish, and we drove from North Carolina to go on that. So mistakes were made all around there. But we
Mistakes were
we
made.
didn't have a lot of time on the Wish, so we didn't we were selective about where we were spending our time. But from what I remember of Nightingales, Scat Cat feels completely different, and everything just feels actually finished on the Treasure in a way that the Wish did not when we were on it. COVID. We all know why that was, but I agree with you that having the bar kind of, you can go into the inside of it, or you can just go up to the bar from the Grand Hall. It just opens the space up and it feels much nicer. We didn't spend a ton of time in Scat Cat overall.
No,
because,
but I prefer that theme to the Nightingales
of course.
theme. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I love that you started by saying you're cat people, because as we were talking pre-show, one of your cats literally kept walking across, like right in front of you across the computer.
Thankfully, now that we're on the show, he has settled down.
It's because we're no longer eating ice cream.
Yes.
And we don't, not that we let him eat ice cream, but he really likes to smell ice cream and hope that he can get a taste of it, even though it's not for cat. So yeah. So he's going and doing something somewhere else, which is good for the purposes of this show.
All right. Well, time for the main event. I mean, Haunted Mansion Parlor. But before we dive into your review of it, I just want to ask like a kind of a tactical question here, which was, how crowded was it? Did it settle out after the first night where it was like, or was it like busy the whole time?
We didn't try the first day.
No.
We were just like, we're here for 7 nights. We don't have to like storm the door. Like it's going to be okay. So we just let it simmer for a day, because we had we had 2 sea days back to back at the beginning of the cruise. So we were like, we will have time tomorrow. And we did.
Nice. Yep. Nice. We walked right on the second day. It was like, there might be a short wait, but we walked in and sat down pretty quickly, started getting drinks, unlocked the secret on the iPad. Didn't actually get that drink, but we saw that it existed. Yes, and then we sat through the whole show, and then we went in there 1 or 2 other times throughout the summer.
I mean, it really feels like a love letter from Imagineering is what I'll call it. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell that they were like, yes, we're gonna do all of our best Imagineering on this bar. We're gonna make it just so cool. And for parks lovers who like the attraction, I mean, you definitely feel like you're just sitting in the middle of the attraction. Which is cool. It's not a great place to like hang out and chat.
Yes.
Because it gets loud.
The effects are constantly happening.
The Grim Grinning Ghost song goes off every 15 minutes or so, which is fine. But you're not going to necessarily hang out in there. They don't do trivia in there for obvious reasons. Yeah. So if you're there, you're enjoying the drinks, you're enjoying the vibes, but you're not probably having a heart-to-heart with anybody in there.
Yeah. And you're right. You can have a conversation with like the person sitting next to you, but it's not like Periscope Pub is probably the best place to like sit. And if you want to have like a really long conversation, because there's not as many events that happen in there. Plus it's a quieter space unless there's a football game going on. Right. Yeah. But Haunted Mansion, you're right. The rotation of the show is constantly going from dark to bright, from loud to singing, from there's lightning or thunder, it's probably not the best conversation place, but super, super fun.
Oh, it's super cool. Don't get me wrong. And towards the end, I think on our last day or 2, we had like 15-30 minutes kind of free between activities, and so we just popped in there and we're able to sit right by the fireplace and order a drink. So it was definitely not like a lengthy queue to get in there. From what we saw, there was no virtual queue needed, so it was not stressful, really, I would say.
What did you think of the drinks?
Okay, so
they
I need him to
honestly of the different bars that we went to, I thought they were the weakest. Yeah, because like I thought Scat Cats were better, the Skipper Society's better, even the drinks at Sarabi I think were better, especially for the Indiana Jones adventure thing.
Gonna go.
Okay,
but he's comparing.
I like the segue.
It makes sense. But we've got to ask. So there's the chilling challenge, and Tracy's asking an important question. This is one of the drinks. Do you know? Did they have the death certificates?
They did not.
Because you got the chilling challenge.
Yes, I got the chilling challenge to see, and they did not, sadly.
No. Sorry. I got the drink that comes in the Mariner mug, which is just the one that I wanted. And it's the Last Catch. And I liked it. I think that I would be willing to drink that one again.
Same. It wasn't like my favorite drink.
Yeah, the Marigold was kind of a fun touch, something different.
Yeah,
I think the mug is really cool.
The mug is awesome.
Yeah, none of the drinks in there really impressed me, but I thought that was one of the better tiki mugs I've seen Disney come up with. So,
especially it even has this like metal spear with it.
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
And then, that comes out. So if you, I guess, want to put it in the dishwasher, I don't know. Anyways, okay, so now we can do Drew's lovely segue.
So Drew was segueing us. I want to ask a broader question than Sarabi and a specific show. I want to ask about Coriander and Sage generally. I think that's a cool addition. What did you guys think?
I think it's the coolest part of like cast interaction that I've had since the Star Cruiser.
Wow.
All we were
That's some high
talking about
praise.
was like we could see Sage and Coriander like on the Star Cruiser, which is, if for anybody that had the chance to do it or had a chance to hear any of us talk about it, that's like the pinnacle of praise that we can possibly give an actor. So yeah, there's our Star Cruiser picture behind us. But I am kind of obsessed with Sage and Coriander. I was like, if they're
Same.
somewhere, I want to be there too. And I was kind of sad that I don't think they were doing like meet and greets for photos, but I would like to meet and greet them.
So they do sometimes come out into the atrium,
Hall, yeah.
no, the grand hall. And if they're sort of roaming about, usually before or after one of their performances, usually after the Aladdin show that they do in the grand hall. For folks who haven't heard, go back to our episode talking about our sailing. We talked about how basically they performed all of Aladdin with just 2 people and a box of props like hats and stuff and scarves.
We might hear about that from Hayley
yeah,
and
well,
Drew.
I know they went. I know we were texting when Hayley and Drew were on board, and I told them like from the get-go, don't miss Indiana Jones Choose Wisely, and don't miss anything with. I knew once they saw that first activity which is usually Indiana Jones, and then they would do the Jungle Cruise game, then the Aladdin show. Like basically, don't sleep on anything that Coriander and Sage are doing. And I know they took our advice because I know that they were like obsessed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the best. So let's talk about Choose Wisely first. Let's start with so that's in Sarabi. Tell us what you thought about Indiana Jones Choose Wisely.
The whole experience was great. So like the Sarabi Supper Club leading into it with like the lounge singer was great. The drink specifically crafted. We did a tasting later and it was with the cocktail person who put together the drinks for that night. And so we got to talk to her a little bit about those. The monkeys.
Yeah, it's like there's one that's like monkey's brains or something.
That's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best one.
And it comes in the monkey cup, right?
Yes.
It does. That you can't keep that cup, but you can enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Sadly, you can't buy that cup, or it would also be sitting here, and I could show it to you.
That's fascinating that they're not selling
That's
the
interesting.
cup.
I wonder if they just haven't been able to source it or something. And
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they just don't have enough where they feel like they can sell it at that kind of volume.
But if you want the one, what is it? The one that comes with the antidote, whichever one it is. She said she made them source real absinthe to go in that, like not like the
not the fake stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
not the fake stuff. She wanted the real stuff and made Disney get it to go in it. So
shout out to Yelena for
Yeah,
saving the
Yelena.
day with real
Wow.
absinthe. But
Wow.
but we loved the show. We saw it twice. They had it at 7:30 and they had it again at 10:30.
And we
And we
saw
went to
it
the
both
first one because
times.
my thought process was, what if we like it so much we want to see it twice? Let's make sure we go to the first one and then we'll have the opportunity, because if we didn't, then we're going to be kicking ourselves. And I'm glad that we did that.
And I don't think we were the only ones, because of that second time when we went and saw it, there were a lot of people choosing the other options with us to see the other outcomes.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Now, so it was slightly different than the earlier one versus the later one. I know the later one is a little bit longer too. So I do think they do more of the options in the later one than they do of the earlier one. I don't know if you had the same experience.
I'm trying
Yeah, because in the first ones, a lot of people just make the choices that Indy makes in the movie,
Right.
or like we skipped the whole fourth movie the first time.
Right. Right. Which makes sense. Skip the fourth movie.
As you should.
But in the second time, we picked all the things where they would then roll it back and show you the other parts.
The Sarabi Supper Club. So when we were on, it felt like it was basically like a half hour to get people into the room. In fact, when we were on, there was nothing happened for the first 25 minutes of Sarabi Supper Club. A singer just came in at the very end of that. Was that your experience?
Similar. She did sing 3 songs for us, so it might be I don't know if that was.
I think that was the same.
I think that there's no way they added more songs over the last 3 weeks. This is a scripted thing. So it was basically a waiting room with themed drinks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Which
absolutely.
I kind of, I don't mind because you want everybody in their seats, drinks,
Yeah.
happy, ready to do the Indiana Jones. I don't mind it. It was just the way it was described in the app. It sounded like they were like circulating with food and beverage and like all sorts of stuff. And you get
And
there.
yeah, I
like,
think
no.
calling it supper club is a little bit weird because there's no
Yeah.
food to be had, but the themed drinks are cool. And we didn't expect the themed drink, so that was kind of fun when we got there. I was like,
Also, it's listed this way, but this is very adult only.
Yes.
The show is definitely an 18 plus, unless you want to describe some very awkward jokes to your children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was she doing the thing with the whip sound again?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and for those who haven't listened to our prior episode about the treasure, the Indiana Jones Choose Wisely is, I'll call it a choose your own adventure retelling of all 5 of the Indiana Jones movies, and done where you get to choose what Indy does at any given moment, and it either ends well or not so well. And so I'll leave it at that. We don't want to give too many spoilers for those who haven't seen it, but it's really, really fun. All right. What about the Jungle Cruise game show in the Grand Hall? Did you go?
Sorry,
I see Nathan is saying there's a 4th movie, there's a 5th movie. Yes, Nathan, there is. The 4th movie is with Shia LaBeouf. The 5th movie is the one that
I'm
just came
sure
out
Nathan knows
a
that,
year
and
or
he's just
something
making a
ago.
I
joke.
think
Yeah.
that's
Trial of Destiny wasn't.
It wasn't as bad. Yeah. Number 5 wasn't as bad as number 4.
Crystal
It wasn't
Skull.
great.
Crystal
Yeah,
Skull
Crystal
was
Skull was the worst.
we pretend like that doesn't
Yeah.
exist. But
Exactly.
Yes, we did do the jungle. We were in Skipper Lily's boat.
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is-
you
did it. You actually
were.
participated.
Yeah, I love
yeah,
it.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, we just sort of they were like, get in the boat, and we were like,
We
okay.
just happened to be. We were standing right next to
well,
like.
I
where
wanted
they
to be in the
rope out-
boat, so
right.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hover and make sure this isn't just for children. And then it didn't seem like it was. Actually, Skipper Frank's boat was full of adults.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had
kids.
like 2 kids in his boat, and we were mostly kids, and me and Hayley.
I was in
Few
Skipper
parents.
Frank's boat on my preview sailing, and then on our maiden voyage, I just watched from above. I didn't jump in, but I think I think it is great to like go if you're down on the floor, like 5 minutes before the thing starts, and you stand to the side of the stage,
Mhm.
you will be in Skipper Lily or Skipper Frank's boat. So those are Sage and Coriander's name
Which
for
are
that
fun,
show.
unless you are mobility challenged. It really helps if you can like stand up off the carpet.
Yes,
So,
good point.
yeah, just so a thing to keep in mind if you cannot easily get up and down off the floor unassisted, this is maybe not the thing for you to try to participate in. But for if you can, it's super fun, and they will let you sit on the stage too. So if you can't get up off the floor, but you can off the stage, you have that option. But there's lots of fun, like creative props that you experience along your journey. I don't want to spoil them because they're too funny.
Yeah.
If you aren't expecting what they are, but basically the 2 boats are racing each other hypothetically to see who can reach the end point. You're going on 2 different rivers, and you have some nods to the attraction.
And it made me want to ride in the other boat because they had props and stuff that we didn't have. I was like, what is going on over there?
Yeah. Well, and now I want to go in Skipper Lily's boat because I only went in Skipper Frank's boat.
I'm going, are those sloths? Like, what is happening?
Yes,
I will say
there are sloths.
the repeatability of a lot of the Sage and Coriander stuff is actually really, really good because it's there's so much improv happening.
Yes.
I mean, so I love that. I will say the one thing I worry is like, so we're going on in April. I really hope it's the same 2 people doing those 2 characters on board
We
because
don't know when they came on.
Yeah,
when they're
but
taking their
'cause
vacation.
I'm worried it's kind of like Aladdin, the stage production, where so much hinges on the quality of the genie, right? And I think those 2 were really great. They had
So
great
good.
chemistry, so good. So it's like, who are the replacements for them? I'm sure that they're fantastic, but like, it really is going to hinge on them. So
I have faith because think about the Star Cruiser. Brief aside.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, like if you interacted with a Wraith or a Lieutenant Croy on the Star Cruiser, like I haven't talked to a single person who was not convinced they had the best one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
And
And
we had
a lot of
different.
different ones.
Yes, we had a different Croy. We had a different Wraith than you guys had, and we still stand by that ours were the
I
best.
will fight
and
to
you
the death
guys-
that our Lieutenant Croy was the best.
And,
Exactly.
and you guys
You're
will
very
fight
fast
that
ours,
yours were the
so
best. Exactly. So
I
you're right.
think that they can
That's a
find
really
good
point.
people who have the skill set to be able to do the comedy, to do the improv. I mean, the Indiana Jones show is just wild because they're following this script, and it's definitely a script, but they're also improving in the middle of it. The audience is heckling them, so then they're heckling the audience back, and it's just it's so fun.
Yeah,
it is fun.
And same happens to some extent in the Jungle Cruise and the Aladdin retelling. I assume you went to see the Aladdin.
We did.
Yeah, of course. And what did you think of that?
It was great. The one at the end, somebody had mentioned you could meet them then. They kind of went away and some friends came out.
Yes.
Aladdin and Jasmine came out, and they were kind of the ones that were doing the meet and greet.
It was also like that was the 10:30 p.m. showing, so they might have been like,
we're going to bed. Yes,
they're having a very long day.
Yeah, but after the Jungle Cruise thing and after the Aladdin retelling, at least the earlier one, they do stick around. Even though, yes, Jasmine and Aladdin are kind of the stars for pictures. But to me, I got some pictures with Coriander and Sage. I think Brian and I together got a couple pictures of Coriander and Sage as well.
We should have just been like, we're gonna stay here until we can make a selfie happen, but
it sounds like you're just gonna have to book another.
I think we have to go back on the treasure. That's what I am.
Exactly. And Linda's saying if it's a 6-month contract, she thinks rehearsal started in either late July or early August, which would mean they should be done sometime here soon. But then who knows how long their vacation would be? But they might have had longer contracts for the opening cast. It might be.
There were several entertainment and other cast members who were on it since Germany that were talking that they were going to be getting off soon.
Yeah, they've been there since September.
So Sam, we have so much more to cover.
Sorry.
So little time.
We got to do main stage shows. Is that where we're going?
Well, let's specifically just ask about Tale of Moana,
Disney Tale of Moana.
Yeah, I just call it Moana. Moana. Hit or miss?
Okay, I really liked it. I think I liked it more than Drew did. I'll let him give his own opinion. But everybody said this, but it's true. The actress who plays adult being 16-year-old Moana is fantastic. We will see her going places. I am certain of it. She is just like amazing voice, amazing.
She's a star.
Funky energy, just everything that you could possibly want from that character and more. All of the songs from the movie are the best songs in the stage show, I would say. The things they added, but overall really enjoyed the show. And I still think that give me Tale of Moana and Beauty and the Beast and Seize the Adventure any day over Believe or Dreams. Half the time we can't even remember which one is which, y'all. They're just like
preaching to the choir. Preach, girl, preach. That's all I have to say.
So Moana is my favorite Disney movie. I cry every time. It doesn't matter. I went and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I did not like the song they added.
Warrior Face is not the best addition.
Yeah.
It's fine because there's a special effect happening during it, but it's not the best song.
And I don't know, it just didn't hit me the right way. I wanted that emotion that I got from the movie, and I didn't get the same experience. I liked it, but it didn't get me emotional like the movie does.
Do you think your expectations were too high?
Possibly, and there was no Kakamora, and that disappointed me greatly.
I didn't know you liked the Kakamora.
I'm like, take out the warrior things and put in the Kakamora. With what you did with Shiny and Tafiti and how you did all that, surely you can come up with a way to make a bunch of coconuts.
Yeah. So spoiler, there are no Kakamora coconuts in the stage show. There are some other characters missing, and we'll leave it at that. But there are some things that they don't do in the show. But it's okay. It's okay, Drew. It's fine. There are some knocked out of the park like Tafiti. I mean,
yes, but what did you think of Maui?
He was okay. Again, he wasn't
exactly.
It's a very different.
It's hard.
A very different take.
Yes,
and
it's a different take.
I don't know that it was. I think it's so different that it was somewhat shocking.
Okay, fair enough. Bridget, I just want to pull up Bridget's comment. She said Moana was so good. The tech, the choreography, Grandma Tala, all so good. Yeah,
Grandma Tala was
Tala's
great.
Yeah.
I thought some of her jokes were a little bit too like modern.
Yeah,
for
the,
me,
the
like, too
start
trendy.
is a little weird. How
Yeah.
it starts is because
Yes.
they're all in their like traditional outfits, but it's supposed to be like modern day, and that was
It was a little odd, but I wanted to talk about Maui for just a second, which is like, I don't know, to me, we were talking about this in Haunted Mansion Parlor afterward, and I was like, what did you think? And he was like, I liked it. And I was like, what do you mean? But
Yeah.
anyway, for Maui, like, I think that you can't do it like The Rock because it's just going to look like a person badly trying to impersonate The Rock. And I think that would be worse than just doing something totally different, in my opinion.
I'm
Sam
with
and I-
you, Haley.
The same person in
We're simpatico. Like, listen, Maui is very different than if you go in expecting The Rock, you are probably going to be disappointed. So it's a very different take. Taryn is saying she feels the same way as Drew. Don't come at her.
Taryn and Drew and Brian.
Taryn and Brian are gonna
You're
go.
gonna go to Hooks Barbary and talk about it.
It's like Aladdin. It's the genie is the like, and they recognize that in Aladdin by trying to make a genie like the genie in the show. And this one, it just feels like they didn't even try, which is fine. But like, he's such a big personality in the movie. It's really hard to like do a stage production where he's kind of like a secondary character.
That's a good point. I think I wanted him to not necessarily be physically bigger, but be a bigger presence in the show.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like he isn't.
I think it was.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he gives like a little bit of Flynn Rider energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's more of like a trying to be
tongue-in-cheek kind of energy.
Tongue-in-cheek and like kind of trying to be more attractive, I would say.
Too cool.
Like Maui is not like Maui, the animated character is not somebody that you're like, wow, what a hottie. But I feel like on stage Maui was like trying to do that vibe a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. But I think in the stage show, and Brian still loved the show, by the way. So I would say like he and Drew differ in that respect. I mean, I know Drew liked the show, but Brian still loved the show. Although he has some criticisms of the Maui character. But in the stage production, it is definitely Moana and Grandma Tala who carry the show and not the Maui character.
I love Bridget's comment. I'm glad you put that up because I was like,
yes. So she says, I think Maui needed to shrink a little for Moana to fully lead and to have room for Grandma Tala. So yeah, that is exactly how I think of it and how Haley thinks of it. So anyway, we're right. The guys are wrong. Sorry, Taryn, you're also wrong. But with that, we'll move on.
I was going to say with that, I will say one casting decision that I think they just knocked out of the park is Miguel from Coco.
Yes.
Oh, he was very good.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the new Coco themed restaurant and show? And
it was my favorite of the 3 restaurants on the ship. We went to Paulo Steakhouse instead of 1923 Night 2. We didn't plan it that way, but it worked out that way. And I was like, well, the duo didn't like the Night 2 menu that much anyway. So I think this is good because I didn't want to miss the shows in Plaza de Coco or in Marvel. But I'm like low-key obsessed with the Night 2 Plaza de Coco menu. Like those enchiladas and the beef birria empanada, like I seriously considered ordering them again the next night, like when we were in a different restaurant. I ended up not doing that because I wasn't hungry enough. But the food was so good. There were people that we were sitting near that we befriended because they sat us by ourselves, which was odd. We had no new friends. So we just made new friends with the people that were sitting, one foot to our left. I mean, yes, we're social people. It's fine. But we were talking to some of our neighbors, and I think they maybe are not as adventurous of eaters as we tend to be. So they were like, why couldn't they have just like had Mexican food like we have at home? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you can get chicken, rice, and cheese back in Ohio. Like, let's enjoy something different. I love chicken.
I gotta agree with them. I gotta agree with them just a little bit. Like I feel like
on the entrees that's fair, but the appetizers are fire.
Oh, the appetizers are amazing.
I agree. I'm with you. I think that they went a little bit too, or tried to go too fancy, sort of a little bit trying too hard. We've sort of coined that in Coco on the entrees, but there's still a lot of good there. It's just it is a little bit more on the adventurous side versus the appetizers are a little bit more tame. Oh, one of your cats is coughing?
He's on the fridge. He's on the top of the
He's
refrigerator.
on the top of the fridge. Oh,
Which is like where all the liquor bottles live. Not that we like
Yeah.
use those all the time, but they're up there and they're breakable. So anyhow,
yeah.
I'm gonna carry by myself. The salsa needed help. Yeah, definitely not like the best salsa you've ever had in your life. We did follow the advice of the duo and got extra salsa up front. We were like, bring us a second salsa. We did not.
They invested money in designing specific glasses for the Scat Cat Lounge, but they couldn't put some money into buying a bigger salsa bowl.
They don't understand how Americans consume chips and salsa. Also, our server was from Colombia and he called them nachos, which I thought was funny because
that is funny.
They have no cheese on them.
Right.
We do not call them nachos. But I will say that the show in Coco, I think, was the right balance of like great entertainment without being like so obtrusive that it takes over your entire meal.
Yeah, and Ed is asking that question. How loud are the shows in the restaurants? Can you actually carry on a conversation with your table mates? I think the answer is while the show is going on, it's loud. So it interrupts your conversation, but it's sort of a back and forth more so than in Arendelle. And same with Marvel. Like on Marvel Night 2, there are sort of quiet times and louder, but not loud times. And so
I thought the volume overall, though, for that show was lower than Arendelle.
Than in Arendelle, probably. But it's still not, when the show is happening, there's not a lot of...
it was pretty easy to talk to someone across it. What did you think, Hayley and Drew? I thought it was...
Yeah, we were talking, like Hayley said, the tables around us and to other people. So
yeah, and I think we could even do that during the show if we wanted to. There was a family next to us that turned out in Coco that like lives 45 minutes from us, which was really random.
Oh, really?
And they had like a 4-year-old kid and a 17-year-old German exchange student who is a girl, but she's really into theater. So she was like getting very like weepy during the Coco show, which was so sweet.
I love that.
It was really speaking to her heart there. But we were like able to talk to them and learn these things about them between the times where they were doing more of the singing. I mean, you don't want to be like, that's great. Yeah. Remember me. But what were you saying about, wax off? Like you don't want to miss the show because you're talking.
So let's talk for a second about, so it sounds like Coco was a hit. You liked both night menus. What about the second night of Marvel?
I want to know what my trivia score was. I was pushing all those buttons, and then they don't like give me a readout and see table 222 at the top. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Drew really. You might know we're competitive at trivia. If you've listened to
just a little, they did listen, guys. They did win a trivia. So
we did. We won Marvel trivia, and then I actually won Disney song trivia with some new friends that I made. On the cruise. Drew went to bed, and I was like, I'm staying up. I
went to bed because I had a migraine that day.
Well, that's
excuses.
Yeah, Drew. I mean, you're on vacation.
I didn't
rally. Take some Advil and rally. Come on.
It was actually great because there was like a high school age girl and me, and I'm in my, we'll call it early 30s, and then there was a couple that were like 60, 64. So we had different generations going on where like they recognize some of the older songs that I don't have that instant recall for. So shout out to my team on that one. And then I came in second in the Star Wars Superfan Challenge. Just making that.
Wow, Hayley, that's some street cred. Now I got to ask, which medals did you get? Because the different characters versus the ship one. I got to know which ones you have in your collection now.
We got the ship and
my solo medal that I got is Donald. Yeah, and I can't remember what the other ones are that we have.
We have a Mickey and
we have a Minnie.
Minnie, I think.
I'm thinking we do. So Goofy, I think, is still missing.
Yeah, we only have. So some of the trivias, by the way, they don't always give out medals to some of the adult trivias, at least not on the Wish.
We got a luggage tag.
We got a luggage tag.
Yeah, so sometimes you might not get a medal, but we have the cruise ship one and Captain Minnie, and those are the only two we have of this kind of edition of medals. Yeah,
I will say it's like less exciting to go on to trivia on a cruise that has a lot of platinum and pearl people because they've been on a lot of cruises and they've heard a lot of these trivia questions before.
Yes.
So woe one to you if you don't get a perfect score. And now they've got this like tiebreaker thing where you basically have to come up with a random number out of your rear end. And I don't like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what is the lengthen meters of a
ship or
class
whatever.
Star Destroyer. I'm like, I don't know that.
I don't know. I know. Well, sorry. Jumping back to Marvel, what did you think of the new? That's okay. Trivia is a part of that new show. What did you guys think of the new show, the Groot and Rocket themed show,
and the food?
And the food, yeah.
I thought the show was cute, and how it ended is really cute. And the music coming from Guardians, I really enjoyed. I enjoy the movie.
We were doing some dancing in the seat.
And we got September, which is like our song. We were married on September 21st, so
we've made that our unofficial songs. I'm trying to remember what was on the menu. Okay, so I got the peri peri chicken. It is not that great.
Yeah, I told you it was okay. It wasn't my favorite dish. I thought I know you're not a seafood eater, but I did prefer the salmon and the shrimp dishes on that menu. There is a decent like udon bowl or ramen bowl in that menu as well. It's a vegetarian option.
Yeah. I got the shrimp pasta and it was pretty good.
You also got the lamb.
And the lamb, and it was like the lamb you get anywhere on Disney Cruise Line. Like, it tasted the same. Not really any different.
Yeah,
so.
I
think it's the same as the anime. So a lot of the stuff on that Marvel Night 2 menu, or some of the stuff is from the animators Night 2 menu.
That's probably where I've had it before then. Yeah.
Yeah, and versus the 1923 menu, a lot of those items are from like the Royal Palace, I think, menu, but it's also the baked lobster, which I know people love the sort of having lobster on a cruise ship, and I will tell people
this is the lamb, if that helps you.
Oh yeah.
He was asking what kind. It's this.
Yeah. So lamb. Yeah. So those are, I don't know if that's I don't even know what that is. If that's rack of lamb, but it comes already cut. Yeah. Lamb lollipops.
The menu was fine. I wish I had just, number one, not been so full, but I had like this was on our Castaway day. I don't like the food on Castaway really. And I didn't really want it when we were out there. So I waited to eat till we got back on the ship and waited till I was hungry. So that meant that I was eating like pizza and soft serve at like 3 p.m. And then we had 5:45 dinner. So it's my own fault. I ruined my own dinner, and I should have saved room so that I could have gotten my favorite appetizers from Closet at Coco again, because that would have been my happy place.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's absolutely a good point.
So the menu, that one's fine. I think Marvel might be my least favorite of the 3 restaurants on this dresser.
Yeah,
because I like the show in Coco is good, really good. The food is really good. The shows are like fun for me and for Marvel, but I don't feel like they have as much repeatability.
Mm-hmm. And the trivia questions, somebody in the chat was asking about the trivia questions. They don't change. At least I can tell you from having been on 2 sailings close in time, they did not change. The same trivia questions in Marvel happened. Yeah.
That reminds me. If there's a trivia of Imagineering on the ship, they only have 1 set of questions. Do not do what we did and go twice, because you will just be getting the exact same questions. But unfortunately, so did everyone else who's there. So you have like 6 people with a perfect score, and then you have to do some inane tiebreaker, and then you've wasted an hour of your life. So
yes.
That's my tip on the Imagineering trivia. Go once, not twice.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, most of the trivias, they have a battery of questions, and it sort of randomly generates which questions you'll get, now that they're all knows more trivia, but it sounds like maybe not for that one. But
I saw Larry asked about Uncharted Adventure. There was no mention of it happening.
Yeah, it's not working yet.
It's not working. No, it's not working. Not yet. It was working on the preview. Let me just put that out there. And then it wasn't up on
it was
the
not
maiden
working.
voyage.
I mean, we didn't try, but we didn't see anything about it anywhere, so we just assumed it wasn't a thing. We did it on the Wish, and
I heard it's broken. I don't know what that means, but I heard it's
we
broken.
actually had some technical issues on Marvel Night 1. We didn't get to finish the show properly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like, they had like, done the battle sequence, but then like
it just kind of went down.
It kind of just like went down.
And then Spider-Man came out eventually.
And then it was just kind of like, and Spider-Man. And we were like,
oh, interesting.
We hadn't seen the Spider-Man, because when we were on the Wish, they had not made that
Ant-Man
update yet. It was still
Wasp.
just Ant-Man and Wasp and various props. So that was kind of interesting. And I was like, I got to make sure to remember to tell Brian and Sam about this. So
yeah. Well, Well,
so
is there anything that we haven't talked about that you thought was sort of exceptionally good or exceptionally bad on the treasure as we wind down?
I'd like to pivot specifically on, are there beyond the layout, was there anything that was like, just felt like kind of a miss on the ship for you?
There's nothing that really occurs to me. Oh, that's not true. Okay. 2 things. I thought of that. I did a long Disney survey and I was like, well, I can't remember. And now I remembered. Number 1, the trivia, the proportion of people who want to do trivia versus the size of the spaces where they do the trivia is not good. Like, we did 90s music trivia in Triton Lounge. There were people all over the floor. There was like 4 square feet of empty space in that whole room. It's not big enough.
It's a good thing they don't have a fire marshal on the scene.
Seriously. Like, we were breaking a fire code for sure in there.
Yeah.
And then when we were going on our port adventure out, we did a Disney port adventure for St. Thomas, and they had us meet in Worlds of Marvel. And on the other ships we've been on, you checked in like outside of the meetup place, whether that was the Walt Disney Theater or wherever. Oh no, they told you go in and sit down and somebody will find you and check you in. I'm like, how are they going to know? So we sit down and there's like cast members, or crew members, like kind of randomly scattered throughout the restaurant. And you're supposed to like wave your hand and flag them down to come check you in. But they had a ton of groups meeting at 9:45 and we started to get really concerned that we were going to
because they started calling groups to leave.
And we were like, we're not checked in yet. So we finally stood up
and know what
somebody down and we're like, you must check us in.
And we were one of the groups that
our group had already left. So then we were like,
oh wow.
Like power walking out there and like we're looking for the person with the sign for our Pinocchio or whoever our character was, and they are literally walking away.
They're like getting on the vehicles to leave.
And we're like, and we were there like on time.
Yeah.
So I thought that system was terrible, and I did tell them that when I took this multiple surveys that they sent me. I was like, this is a bad system, and you need to rethink this. So those are my 2 misses. Do you have anything to add to that?
No.
It's a great show.
He has Maui.
No, be quiet.
All right.
Your mouth.
All right. Well, with that, I actually, so I want to wind us down, but I have some breaking news from Disney that I actually discovered as we were recording the show, and I want to put it up because I know if there are 2 people who would appreciate what I'm about to show, it will be the 2 of you. So let me see if I can get this to work. For those of you at home, you're gonna just have to, you're gonna have to come over and watch
us on YouTube.
Watch us on YouTube. So I'm just going to share my screen here if it's going to come up. And so some of you may know, just to set this up, that Disney has been working on some droids. And the question here in this video is, where will they go next? Let's see if I can get it to play.
We might not be able
the
to.
Star Cruiser.
I know. It's like, that's the Star Cruiser window. So we're
why is this not playing? Please play. It's so good. Oh no, it's not going to play. I'm going to have to go over to their Imagineering, the direct page, and see if I can find it. There it is. Look who made it aboard the Disney Wish. That's right. Droids.
Yeah.
Yes, they have actual working droids, and they show them heading into the you want to call it the sublight lounge. It's not it, but
the hyperspace.
We
oh no, this
lounge.
is in the kids club.
No. Give it a second.
Okay.
Give it a second because they are headed to the kids club soon. So,
Yeah,
or sorry, headed to the.
Yeah, this is the kids club space that they're in right now. That is the Star Wars themed kids club space. Yes. There they are going into hyperspace.
Yes.
Oh, they're scanning.
Now, I don't think this is a permanent thing because their thing is like they're showing them they're showing them off kind of around the world. But oh man, this would reinvigorate Hyperspace Lounge for me if I could get a droid encounters in the bar. So there you go. Yes. Thought I'd have to share that, and I thought 2 people who would appreciate this the most are 2 people who also went on the Star Cruiser. So I just wanted to share.
Tracy, report back. We need you to do the important research for us.
Nathan is saying evidently is a one-time only.
Well, that's
thing
what
to have
this is.
Droids, according to Scott.
That's what this is looking like. But who knows? Like who knows?
Okay.
Who knows what they end up doing in the future with this? So
Tracy is on board this weekend or this coming weekend with the Morrill family, and so she will hopefully be able to report back on it. So yeah, she's on it. She says, "Thank you, Tracy. She's a roving reporter."
Yes. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap things up here. I do always like to let folks know what our next live show is going to be. And our next live show, I believe, Sam, is it the think it's Valentine's Day because of our travel this weekend, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We will not be on next Monday because we will be heading this weekend. We're heading to Disneyland in Anaheim to run the Disneyland. Well, I'm running the Dumbo Double Dare Challenge, which is the 10K and the half marathon. Brian is running the 10K, and Nathan will be just spectating. So we're going to spend some time at Disneyland. We don't fly back until Monday evening. So we will not be live next Monday, but in 2 weeks, we will be back on Monday, February, I don't know.
10th. Monday, February 10th. We'll be
Yep.
joined by CT, who I think has probably been furiously like there's smoke coming off the page of the night about the adventure and some other things. So can't wait to have CT on. We're going to do a little Valentine's Day show. CT loves to surprise his wife with things. And so he was going to talk to us about some fun things that he's done around Disney Cruise Line with his wife. So that's going to be great. So looking forward to that. But for now, I will just say, so back on the 10th, regular time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. But Hayley, Drew, it's always fun to catch up with you. It's always fun to see you. I really hope we get to sail with you again sometime soon.
I want to
know.
see you in person again soon.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
been
me
too
too.
long, so let's
we're
figure out a
also
way.
scheduled to talk about our Costa Rica ABD that I won.
That's
can't
right.
wait.
That's
Can't wait.
right.
Can't wait. We got a lot of great ABD content coming up over the next couple of weeks, including a couple of ABD guides who are going to be coming up to the
Ooh,
show.
cool.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about that. Pretty,
Rebecca's coming back, and we've got Danny, Adventure Guide Danny is
who
coming
was
on
also
the
friends with
show.
the genie.
Yes, he was
So yes,
Friends with the Genie back in Disney's California Adventure
yes.
for many years, actually.
So lots of fun stuff. With that, though, we will say goodbye to all of you out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to this afterwards. And thank you to Hayley and Drew for coming on.
Bye.